A thanks to Papa's Quiz and its developer for sponsoring this episode. Yes, this is definitely a week where the sales are bloody good. There are some incredible deals, things like Stardew Valley, that never goes on sale, it's its lowest ever price. I've made a few purchases myself, it has to be done, otherwise I think these videos are just ridiculous. All of our backlogs need to suffer equally. Thanks to all of you who enjoy the channel and to all those that have subscribed this week. Remember, we give away a free game each and every month to the person most active on the channel. Nice one. What's on sale? Well, let's find out. First up then, we've already said it, it's Stardew Valley. If you haven't played it, I'm not really sure where you've been, but there's so much has been added to this game over the years. You can build up farm, you can befriend the villagers, there are different scheduled events that happen throughout the year. You can go fishing, you can go into caves, you can ride a little horse, you can play cooperatively with a friend online. I'm sure they were going to add, weren't they going to add local co-op? Have they added local co-op? It's been a while since I've played, you'll have to let me know in the comments. It's such a chill game. We could definitely make a list of the most chill games on Switch and this would be up there with literally hundreds of hours of gameplay, but also a game you can pick up and play at any time. And at 36% off, taking it down to £6.99 or your regional equivalent, that is an absolute bargain. That goes on until August the 11th and it has a download size of 1.4 gigs. A thanks to Old Apes with their new quiz game Papa's Quiz for sponsoring this episode. There's absolutely no way anyone in my family can get together without having some form of debate. So whenever we play quizzes in my house, it definitely gets competitive. Papa's Quiz is a quiz game on the Nintendo Switch and all the prices can be seen on the screen. Now, it's obviously a quiz game where up to 8 of you can create your own little avatar, connect up your mobile device and use your phone to answer the questions directly. There's over 3,000 different questions in here on all different categories, and the mobile integration, if you choose to go that way, is absolutely seamless. I do like how you have to button mash on your controller to try and get the arrow to go towards the category that you want to play. It logs all of your scores down at the bottom of the screen constantly, and obviously whoever wins gets to choose their victory dance, because who doesn't like a victory dance? It does exactly what it says on the tin. If you're looking for a decent quiz game on Switch, then you might want to consider Papa's Quiz. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring this video. Continuing the trend of awesome games that rarely go on sale for such big discounts, we've got Burnout Paradise Remastered. If you're not familiar with it, Burnout Paradise is a great car racing game from EA and there are over 130 different destructible vehicles in here. There's 8 different DLC packs and everything's running at 60 FPS, which, let's be honest, isn't the norm on most Switch games just in general. Yes, it's an older title, but I mean, for this price, it's definitely worth that. It's a 3.9 gigabyte download and you're looking at about 30 to 50 hours of gameplay. There's also online multiplayer for up to 8 players. This sale goes on until August the 11th. It's 70% off and certainly worth it. Next up, we've got the legendary Children of Morta on the Nintendo Switch, which has also received a massive free update since it came out, which adds what we like to call Hades mode. It's essentially an entirely separate game mode. Now the core game is an action, is it an action RPG or is it like a hack and slash roguelike? That's up to you to decide. I don't want to be the judge of that one. But either way, it's very addictive. You've got different players to choose from. You can actually do 2-player co-op, which is a lot of fun. But the whole thing revolves around the Bergson family, each of whom have their own skill sets and who are trying to repel evil from the land. Now it looks amazing. It's got brilliant narration between each of your runs, and it does have those roguelike elements, but it also manages to tie them beautifully with story. That seems to be the key that a lot of these games like Hades have done so well, and it's what kept it so interesting for me. It's 60% off at the moment, which is its lowest ever price until August the 11th. It's a 2.1 gigabyte download, and if you do enjoy it, don't forget the Paws and Claws DLC. It's only a few quid, and it adds an animal shelter system, which include deer, fox, birds, and a couple of others. Awesome. The bargain of the week then, if you like horror games, is the Amnesia collection, which we've reviewed on the channel. This is 90% off, taking it down to £2.52 or your regional equivalent. It includes all 3 of the Amnesia games, The Dark Descent, A Machine for Pigs, and Justine. And I think the thing that made these so scary was the soundscape. There are a lot of strange ambient knocking noises and other effects that you're not quite sure if they're happening in your own house or on the TV. I personally am not very good with with scary games, but Glen loves them and he thought this was decent. It also holds a very good Metacritic score, and if you're even remotely interested in horror games, I think this one will appeal to you. It's got a 5.3GB download, which isn't bad really, is it, for 3 different games, but you'll have to be quick because this ends in hours, and if you're seeing this on Monday, this is already gone. I wouldn't usually put a game that's just released on here, but I think actually there's a few that should be mentioned. First of those is Haven Park. Now, we reviewed this just the other day and we really enjoyed it, with it being very much like A Short Hike, which was another little gem that popped up on the Switch that those that played it just loved, even though it was quite short. This one comes from developer Bubble Studio and is published by Moon Eye Studios, and you'll be exploring a very small little open world. There's a campsite that you can set up, questing that will take around about 2 to 4 hours, and it just is one of those beautifully charming games that is kind of chill and reminds you why you play games in the first place, is for that enjoyment factor. I'd say it's well worth it. It's only 12% off, but then it's only £6.15, and that's until August the 11th. Time to hop over to your US region because there's some great deals over there that are worth mentioning. The first one then is Risk of Rain 2, which is $9.99, and I would probably say is one of the top 5 best hidden gems on Switch. It's an incredible roguelike game. Absolutely incredible. The first one had a completely different art style, different perspective. This one took it into the 3rd dimension, took it 3D, but it still has all of the things that made that game so great. And then it includes co-op gameplay as well. You've got up to 10 different playable characters that you can unlock. There's over 110 different items. It's very fast-paced action, and it's just massively underappreciated in my opinion. It's published by Gearbox, but developer Hoppo Games, is it Hoppo or Hoppo, have, in my opinion, created a bit of a roguelike masterpiece here. It's a brilliant game. You can get it for $9 physically at Walmart at the moment, but on the eShop it's $9.99, which is 60% off until August the 12th. My most expensive sale pick for this week, but one that in my opinion is worth buying above possibly every other game in this list, and it's Divinity 2 Original Sin, the Definitive Edition. This is currently 30% off until August the 12th, and that might not sound like a big reduction, but let me say that just maybe one playthrough, you're looking at around about 100 hours minimum, and that's not 100 hours of filler content and things that aren't actually fun. It's 100 hours of pure quality. It's made by Larian Studios, who were put in charge of doing the Baldur's Gate 3 game, and it's just class. If you're a fan of this kind of top-down old-school RPG, I can't recommend it highly enough. You can choose to do the game in so many different ways. There are so many different solutions for every problem. I mean, my first playthrough, because I didn't have much money, let's just say there weren't many NPCs left by the end of the game because I was just butchering them all. Oh man, sometimes I see games on these sales and I'm like, oh, I have to go back and play that again. And Door Kicker's Action Squad, that's definitely the hidden gem for this week. What a brilliant game this is. You can play on your own or you can do old school couch co-op style play, and there are 84 different levels to work your way through. But essentially, you go in and kick a door down and you've got to try and clear out a building. But it's actually quite strategic. There is a zombie invasion mode here as well, and there are 20 different enemy types and 4 different mission objectives. It's not always the same thing. Sometimes you'll be saving hostages or just killing all the terrorists. For $4.49, that's 70% off. I know these visuals won't appeal to everyone, and some of you will say, oh, that just looks rubbish. I promise you, if you get this one, leave a comment down below and just let me know how much fun you've been having with it, because I can almost guarantee you will. It's only 107 megabytes to download. It's got a very good Metacritic score. I can never say Metacritic. It's got a very good score. And you're looking at about 20 hours of gameplay plus, depending on if you've got other people to play with. The kids' pick this week is one that I definitely agree with. My daughter was like, why don't you tell them about that Ditto game that we used to play? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I will. This was really fun. It was a bit like an old school Zelda game, top down comes from Devolver Digital and was developed by 1Bit Beyond. But I mean, just look at that artwork. It's an action RPG which can be played co-op. There are dungeons to fight through. It's not the longest game. It won't take you a huge amount of time, but it's really easy to pick up and play with a friend. There are loads of different weapons that you can use, including a golf club, a magical golf club. I mean, why wouldn't it be? And really a good one to get your kids into ARPGs as you can play alongside them and maybe do a bit more of the work. That's on sale until August the 12th. It's 50% off, taking it down to $7.49 or your regional equivalent if it's available in your area. And finally then we've got another one really that could essentially be the kids pickup, but is another one that adults will definitely enjoy. It's Cat Quest 2. It was very similar to the first game. It's an ARPG, but this time around you could play through the whole thing with a friend. Now the world features cats and dogs, and that perpetual struggle is what informs the narrative here. It's set in the world of Felingrad or Felingrad, and you'll find loads of different weapons, gear, items, and some quite tricky boss fights in there as well. I love this art style. It almost looks like the whole world is a map screen, but it works really well. It's only 956 megs, probably one of my favourite ARPGs on Switch actually, and I'm realising now that this didn't go into our ARPG list, but it could have done, couldn't it? Is this an ARPG or is this just an action adventure game? Who knows? Either way, really good, enjoyed it a lot, and it's the lowest it's ever been, and it's on sale until August the 12th. Let's finish up then with 2 games you should avoid, and every like on this video represents some poor soul who made the purchase and whose head sunk and they uttered the words, oh for right. First up we've got Destiny Connect, TikTok Time Travelers Connect, Destiny. I think I might have got that name wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say. This one came from NIS. I was expecting really good things, but it is as dull as dishwater. I mean, the game is not fun. It feels very clunky. At first I thought it was going to be nice and quirky, but no, it's just not a fun game. It drags on, the mechanics feel out of place. It's just, yeah, I mean, there's no two ways to say it. Some games things fit and others they don't, and this one, just from start to finish, wasn't very enjoyable. So I would definitely say avoid it. It's not a great game at all. And finally there's the Persona wannabe, the Caligula Effect Overdose, which is exactly that. It's a wannabe. It's not very fun. The story not particularly compelling. We had Jace review this one for us on the channel, so yeah, check out the full review, see what you think for yourself. But it just didn't grab any of us. We didn't think it was worth it at all. It's currently on its lowest ever price, so there's the potential there that some people might consider picking it up. So that's it for this week. Once again, a thanks to the sponsor for this video. If you have a big family like myself, be warned, the quizzes can get a bit heated. Thanks to all of you that watch the channel, to our patrons who support us. We've got some brilliant reviews for you this week, so make sure you stick around and have your notifications on. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!